You, my friend, are holding a frozen turkey.
A frozen young turkey.
They do say only the good die young.
Yeah.
So I guess that means it's a good turkey. Why are you holding a turkey?
Who here? Frank?
Okay, Frank the turkey?
Frank
the frozen turkey.
Yeah, I raised him.
You name your turkeys? How do you manage to ever eat your turkey?
This started out as a household pet.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It's honest, simple turkey, and that was not honest.
I raised him honest.
Oh my God.
It's a shame he had to die so young.
Okay, well, welcome to VIVIFI. My name is Matt Robinson.
And I'm Ben McLean, and we bring the mundane to life here.
And why do you have a turkey?
Well, because we're going to eat it.
We're not eating that on the show today. I refuse.
You're right. No, we're going to eat it this Sunday night at our Thanksgiving feast. So this Sunday night, if you want to come and join us for our Thanksgiving feast, then you should do that.
It's going to be epic. Going to be a great Thanksgiving dinner with all of our friends.
We'll be eating Frank, I think, and his cousin, Gerald.
That just, it makes everything that's going to happen Sunday night weird now.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have a weird Thanksgiving? I had a weird Thanksgiving when I was a kid. Like, we've all got our Thanksgiving traditions that are things we do every year.
I did have a weird Thanksgiving.
You did?
Yes.
Do you want to go first, or should I go first? You, me, Frank?
You know, can I be honest about something right now? I'm not used to being this far away from you.
It is kind of weird. I'm distant.
It's like we feel the need to like.
This is what happens when Matt is in charge of a VIVIFI video, because I felt like we were going to be discussing history. We needed to be in somewhat more of a serious, somber place. I just said somber. Somber.
Well, it's somber for Frank and Gerald.
Who? Okay, now we've got Gerald.
That's his cousin.
There are several turkeys that Sandy has gone out and bought. They're going to be cooking them up. We're excited. Can I just share my...
Share your story.
Okay, so here's my weird Thanksgiving.
Every Thanksgiving, since it's yours.
That would be actually not weird, because it'd be normal. If it happens continually, that would be normal, not abnormal. Okay, so when I was just a few years old, I was crawling around, walking around, and I did a goofy thing one Thanksgiving. I started to crawl into the oven. This is a true story. My parents lost track of me. My aunts and uncles lost track of me, and when they opened the oven to take the turkey out, I fell onto the open oven. You weren't expecting that. That didn't go where you thought it was.
Is it because your aunt lovingly called you turkey? Like, oh, get out of here, turkey.
Yeah, no, this was not the result of a bad pun. I sauntered in. As only a toddler can.
Is this a vocab test today?
I fell hands first onto the oven, and thank goodness one of my relatives caught me as my hands came in contact.
And that's why you don't have fingerprints now.
With the oven. Yeah, so identity theft does not happen to me because I am fingerprintless. But that was my weird Thanksgiving, is that I had to deal with blisters across my entire hands. Can't really enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey or stuffing if you've got blisters on all your fingers.
I can enjoy food no matter what.
Says the guy who named his turkey Frank. So give us your weird Thanksgiving memory.
Well, it was a time that I had macaroni and cheese with the family. And, well, it started with mac and cheese, but that's only because...
You brought a grocery store with you. You started off with a turkey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
We were stuffed on mac and cheese before we switched over to, you know, thinking that we can eat yams. All right? And so...
I just love that you think you're funny.
Me too.
I hate yams, by the way.
Well, that's you. Because I love yams. But you're just green with envy at my story that's going so well, and kind of gravy. Kind of gravy. Groovy.
That was the biggest stretch you've had so far.
That's the biggest stretch.
I don't think this is going to turn into a story.
Well, it could. It might be a little corny, but I think we're going to get through this just fine.
Yeah, you've fudged the details already.
Oh, he's leading. He's leading because he's taking my puns away. But, potatoes. You don't got anything.
Got a little flaky there.
You know what? I think I did a good job of taking all the elements and mashing them together.
Okay, so why did you not tell a story, and why did you just put items from your pantry on the table?
Because these are all the items that we are raising for our food drive. And it's the items that we need people to bring tonight to Sunday Night Feast.
I think you should clarify, this is not a food drive to feed Ben.
Oh, that's a good point.
We're
feeding families who aren't as fortunate and can't get their own food for Thanksgiving. So we want to help them get food.
So Thanksgiving is just not about you stuffing yourself. It's about helping other people celebrate, be thankful too. I think that's great.
And it's always been that way. Since history. God created the world and said, stuff your faces on the third Thursday in November.
He said, I'm going to give you Frank the turkey and Gerald. They're extra animals for you to kill and eat.
Yep.
We're going to have to cover that at some point. Okay. Actually, we're here in this very serious feeling setting. Can I give us a little bit of Thanksgiving history?
If you're a nerd.
All right. Wow. Okay. So, have you heard of the Mayflower?
It's a flower in May.
Okay. It was a small ship carrying about 102 passengers that were coming to the New World for freedom, right? They landed, and after they landed, believe it or not, most of them didn't get off the boat. Did you know that most of them weathered their first winter still on the boat at Plymouth Rock? Some of them got off and started trying to build things, but many of them stayed on the boat because the conditions were so bad.
I never personally want my cruises to end.
Oh yeah, and this was definitely not a pleasure cruise. A lot of them died. A lot of them didn't make it to the first spring. A lot of them died, but then finally they had some crops that could be harvested thanks to some partnerships and some generosity of local Native Americans. And so they had their first Thanksgiving. Ta-da! And it lasted about 3 days, but here's a big spoiler.
3 days? Why doesn't our Thanksgiving last 3 days?
It kind of does. I mean, you think about it. You eat Thanksgiving. Everybody goes shopping the next day.
Oh, that's not Thanksgiving.
And then on Saturday, like, what do you do on Saturday that's serious? You're still eating the food.
No, I want a new meal 3 days straight.
I don't think you want to cook a new meal, though.
I want a new course each day.
Did you know there wasn't...
Hit me with the turkey and the green bean casserole day 1. Day 2, I'm coming after you, dark meat, and I'm also going to get some mashed potatoes on there. Day 3 is all about the desserts, man.
I don't think this 3-day feast was all that you think it was, because they actually didn't have any pies. Because they didn't have any ovens, and they didn't have any sugar at that point. And so even though they were celebrating their new food, and they invited, it was a celebration with Native Americans.
That's
and
a good point.
The pilgrims.
My favorite food is green bean casserole.
I don't think they had green bean casserole. Yes. They probably had green beans.
They went out to the green bean fields. They picked the green beans. They went out to the cream and mushroom soup field and picked the cream and mushroom soup.
Well, they did probably have Boston markets then.
Yes.
So that was probably what they had. So that was the first Thanksgiving. But they didn't really have cakes or other desserts because they missed out on that. So like one of the best parts of what we know as Thanksgiving, those poor guys had to do without. And I mean, can you imagine having a Thanksgiving meal after you lost half of your crew? That'd be a
somber time.
Somber, yeah. So, well, that's a downer. So now let's go to a happier time called the Civil War. That's actually when Thanksgiving became an official holiday. One of the darkest times in our nation's history. One of the most horrible times in our nation's history, where we were honestly almost not a country anymore because we were at war with ourselves. 1863 is when this was Thanksgiving.
The war on turkeys.
No, this was the Civil War when lots of scary things happened, and brother fought against brother.
There was a civil war in Australia where they fought against emus, right?
I'm pretty sure you are hurting our country's history just by...
No, I'm not lying.
They fought on emus?
The Great Emu War. You can look up the casualties and everything on Wikipedia. It was 10,000 to 1.
There you go. If you get bored on Thanksgiving, Google Emu War.
The Great Emu War.
But Abraham Lincoln created Thanksgiving as an official holiday in 1863.
Huh, honest Abe himself, huh?
And he actually was like the first like original gangster, like original like beat poet. Listen to his proclamation. I'm just going to read you the first sentence, okay? This year that is drawing toward its close has been filled with blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. I can't do this. To these bounties, which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added, which are so extraordinary in nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften even the heart, which is habitually insensible to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. That was the opening statement. Like that, do you write sentences like that?
Straight flows, man. It's straight flows.
I don't know if anybody could hear that because of the beat that you laid down.
Oh, they did.
I do have
better.
I have one part that I think is like especially poignant. There's another good vocab word. I think it's like, I mean, we're going through some tough stuff as a country. It is like everything is not hokey-dory right now. I think it's kind of important for us to see why Abraham Lincoln said we needed a Thanksgiving and why he made up a new national holiday in the midst of a country being at war. So I highlighted a section. Could you read that in your best Abraham Lincoln voice?
As if I could read. I dare... Oh. I do. Therefore, invite my fellow citizens in every... Actually,
historians believe that Abraham Lincoln actually had a very nasally, annoying voice. Like, people said that it was actually quite high.
I do, therefore, invite my fellow citizens...
That's actually worse. Just go back to what you were doing.
In every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea, and those who are sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of Thanksgiving.
We just went Sean Connery there.
And praise to our benefit, Father who dwelleth in the heavens. And I recommend to them, while offering up the ascriptions justly due, to him for such singular deliverances and blessings. They do also, with humble penitence for our national preservedness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, and mourners, and sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it, as soon as it may be consistent with the divine purposes, to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union.
So there you have it from the mouth of Lincoln himself. If you were able to weed your way through all the different voices that Ben just did, Abraham Lincoln, in a time when the nation was being torn apart, said, "Let's remember to be thankful. Let's remember to be generous." Here we are, 160 some years later, and the same is true for us now. Our nation is going through a really tough time, and we need to remember to be thankful and be generous. So
I'm thankful for you, bud.
Hey, I am thankful for you too, all the way across that chasm. So there's that. Yeah, so if you're on the east side of Cincy on Sunday night, 5:30 to 8.
Come be thankful with us.
Come celebrate and be thankful with us, and let's be generous together and bring some items in to take care of some people, to bless some people, because this nation could use a lot more generosity and gratitude. And I think I'm going to go call an EMT. Peace out, you Liberty Gibbets.